You are watching a Fact TV presentation of the town of Swanzey.
40 years he's passed away. Many of us served with him on many boards. He was an outstanding person, and I just would like to ask a moment of silence for him. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, everybody. Consider we opened it, we're out of recess now, and we're gonna move on. So Mark, I'll give you the floor.
Make a motion to approve the regular minutes for May 6th, May 11th, and May 12th.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Make a motion to approve the non-public minutes for May 6th, sessions 1 and 2.
I need a second. Any discussion on those?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, I know we have some people here that appointments that are coming tonight, but we have public input. Does anybody have any public input they would like to discuss now? You'll have another chance at it if you don't want, if you're not ready right now. Hi, Kathy. You can come right up. And just let us know who you are.
Brian Simons, 49 Fox Club Lane.
Hi, Brian.
I'm
Nice
here
to see you.
to inquire as to the property at 106 and 110 Patchworthbury Lane. The rumor on the street is that the owner wants to donate it to the town. And I was wondering where that all stood and what the possible options are, what their intent is to live in it and tax-free or what.
Are you an abutter to it? Are you a neighbor? What
I
is-
live in Fox Club Lane, which is on the further end.
And
opposite
and
corner.
what were your concerns?
If he's looking to donate it to the town and not pay taxes on it for as long as he lives,
Yeah.
those types of things, there's a lot of rumors on the street.
Yeah.
So
Well,
I'm just-
I wouldn't like to get into details, but it was, you know, we did have one meeting and the board has not made any decisions. We haven't got together. We're missing a selectman. And I would just would appreciate if you give us a little more time to do a little more investigating. And I would suggest that you don't listen to rumors. You will get the facts as soon as we come up to where we need to be with this decision. And then we'll get back to
I
you.
understood that the decision was totally on me.
No decision has been made.
Yes, I know that, but it is totally on the selectmen. And as property owners, we don't, from my perspective, donating to the town so that they don't pay taxes, the rest of the residents don't need to take on that burden
Correct.
of that property.
And we're taking that all into consideration, and it's a big concern of ours. So
Yeah.
that's why we didn't make a harsh, we didn't just accept it. We're gonna really look into this and make sure we do the right thing for the
I know there
taxpayers.
was an opportunity to be there that I didn't know about, but I understand that there was a meeting at the house that.
Yeah, but I don't think he invited anybody but us. It was a public meeting? Yeah, it was a public
Yeah,
meeting,
but
that's
I
right.
didn't know about it, so I
I'm
couldn't
sorry,
be here, so.
I'm sorry.
But, no, it's not your fault. It's just, I'm just picking things up after the fact that
Yeah.
there's a bunch of residents that live in that neighborhood up there that are concerned of
Yeah.
the property being donated to the town, and then the rest of us have got to pick up that burden.
Got it.
He lives, and the owners live there free of charge until they die. That's not.
Trust
our
me,
business.
trust me, that was a big concern of ours.
Yeah.
We're taking that all into effect. It's well noted, for sure.
Okay.
And you
You
can
know
let
if
everybody
we're
know.
on again in the next meeting?
I think we have a scheduled meeting on this after Jay comes back, right? Yeah, I think we're gonna meet in a week, Laurie, or a week and a half?
So I
2
should
weeks.
come back at the next council meeting?
Yeah, and you might be able to have some information there, yeah, and our next date of our next meeting is June 3rd, is it?
2 weeks?
June 3rd,
Okay.
okay?
You can answer his question about living there, donating the house and living there, because that was not part of the discussion.
You can explain that to me if you want.
So the property, Brian, as you know, consists of two, right? And,
He's combined the two into one.
correct. And the proposal was to donate one of the buildings to the town, not the one that they're living in.
Yep,
So,
the vacant one.
correct.
Yep.
But they would continue to pay property taxes on the portion that they're living in.
That still leaves a fair
It
amount of
does,
change on the.
but
on the live property.
it alleviates the concern that they donated the property and then lived there tax-free. That is not on the table.
Okay, we still have the other property. and-
Correct.
And whatever happens to that, be taken off the books,
Well, there's
potentially.
that's one method. Another is they could put a conservation easement on it, which essentially takes it off the books, which we hope they don't do. But that would accomplish the same.
Okay.
But as Jim said, it's at the very preliminary stage.
Yep.
So there'll be more.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for speaking
coming.
to us.
Okay, Mark, is this,
Let me do that.
yep,
Make a motion to appoint Victoria Ames as the planning board representative to the SWRPC.
I'll second that.
So I have just something I'd asked Adam to check, and I don't know whether that was done or not, Lori, but these are 4-year terms. Did we want to stagger the term, or do we want them to both be 4-year terms? We've appointed Gus Lorando to a 4-year term expiring in 2030.
I'm not sure I can answer that. If,
When we discussed it at the planning board, I think it was mentioned for 2 years.
2 year,
Maybe 4 years, but when we discussed it, it was 2 years.
okay. So could we amend the
Yep,
motion?
so I make a motion that we appoint Victoria Ames to a 2-year term to the planning board representative to the Southwest Regional Planning Commission.
I'll second it.
Just one additional.
Oh,
To run through town meeting of 2028.
what he said, to run through town meeting through 2028.
did you capture that, Sue? Thanks, Scott.
second it.
I do, yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Sue, you okay with that? You got everything? Because I could take a minute and let you catch, you good?
I didn't even get a chance to praise her. I wanted to say a few things about her. How awesome she is.
All right, we'll go right into the appointments. We have Chris from the county. You want to come right up? There's 2 chairs up here. I'm excited to see Cheryl's here tonight. Very good. Good
Thank
to
you.
see you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Cheryl, do you do all these?
Oh, thank you. Hi, Cheryl. Thank you so much. Good, how are you? Thanks for coming.
Not me.
All right, so good evening. Thank you for allowing us to come here. We were here a while ago. We've been on a 5-month tour of every single community in Cheshire County, telling our story as best we can. I think it's important for us to make sure people understand. All too often in government, things get lumped together, and we have our own responsibilities dictated by the state. You know, you'll hear, and we'll talk about that 85.6% of everything we do is statutorily driven. So we don't have a choice in the matter. The other 14% pretty much is the support network, IT, HR, finance, and for people that don't know, this is Cheryl Trombley, our Director of Finance for the county. And so this is just a document that we put together. You know, we've been trying to really do things that so people can understand what we're doing on a semi-regular basis. We have I'm on the radio once a month. We have a podcast that we're doing. We've done probably over 25 episodes now, and we're soon to be on in Instagram and other places, just trying to meet the audience wherever they are, because it's important for them to understand what's going on with the county. And so this is the other thing we've been doing, but since you have some new elected officials, and I know that one's not here tonight, we thought we'd come back and just give you an overview. First and foremost, that, we give you a little bit of language of, that there's 22 towns in the city of Keene, that, that the county has 20 departments. And a lot of people don't understand it. They think of the nursing home, or they think of the corrections facility, or the sheriff's department, but they don't understand some of these. And I will not go through every single one of these tonight, but I want to point out a few real briefly. Maplewood Nursing Home. As you remember, we bonded for a $36 million upgrade to the nursing home and expansion. Why did we do it? Well, the nursing home at the time had ended on mostly doubles, and those doubles were sharing one bathroom with another room that was doubles, that was sharing the same bathroom. So 4 individuals sharing one bathroom. In this day and age, that can't happen. The other thing is we're seeing a high level of dementia, Alzheimer's, and to have doubles doesn't make a lot of sense. So we actually changed that narrative, and now we had about 80% doubles at the time. Now we have about 70% singles, which is really important for individuals. And it's made we think a huge difference.
And we also, just to share, at the time we had to upgrade the nursing home. There were certain things that were failing, and once you hit a certain tipping point, you have to get grandfathered into certain things. So,
right.
At the time we went throughout the entire county to ask the first question to everybody: do you even want us to continue running the nursing home? And there was a lot of public input, and people were very supportive of it. So even before we went through renovating, we made sure that the taxpayers were supportive of the fact that this was going to be a significant project for everyone.
I was telling the story today in our commissioners meeting of that when we bonded, it was about a 12% increase to the county's overall increase in tax to be raised at the time. And I got 5 phone calls. And all of them, why? And I'd always say Maplewood, and they say, okay. Of course, they also said, as long as it's not for that Department of Corrections. But no, it was they understood that. They appreciated, they understood why we're doing what we're doing. So, nursing home, yes. Our census right now is probably about 113, 115. It should be, in perfect world, about 150. We have a wait list. We don't have the staff. And we're not willing to alter some of our standards around care to spread out and go to, one LNA for 15 people or something like that. We're just not willing to do that. That's, and so that's where we're at, and it's a balancing act financially and all that, but we're doing okay. We have a biomass at the facility backed up by propane, and works extremely well. And we also have a facility for assisted living, and that has 20 apartments. It can hold up to 40 people total. So, but a lot of times what we find is one individual, one spouse is on one side and the other one's on the other side, but they can walk back and forth to each other every single day. One needs to be in the nursing home. One needs to be in assisted living, and that's okay. Those are pretty much full on a regular basis. And so that's where we're at with the nursing home. Department of Corrections, that is a facility that in 2027, is that, no, 2027, the bond is ended. So we're looking forward to that. But it's going well. We have a census there of about 115 too. About 60 are locals, the rest are feds, or vice versa some days. And we just toured the facility today. Actually, we have to do it every 6 months and then send a letter into the Attorney General and interview inmates and interview staff to see how things are going there. And it's going extremely well. And like I said, the revenue that's generated helps offset the cost of the corrections facility overall and generates about $2 million worth of revenue, so that's a good thing. And we just bumped up our daily rate, which was 105, it's now 120. So the things are going well there. Cheshire County EMS, currently we are running 5 ambulances and a paramedic intercept. We have a contractual relationship with 19 communities for our 911s, and that's including Keene and the communities they support. And we're also doing all the interfacility transfers for Cheshire Medical, and we've also contracted with a private company called SmartRide. And SmartRide was a company that was based out of Peterborough, was doing about 50 visits or 50 runs a week, and now they're doing about 45 a day. And that's because we've been able to work with them and support them, whether that's financial or whatever, because we didn't really have the capacity to take that on, but he already had it in place, and we thought it was a great relationship, and it has been so far. He did last year 13,000 runs. He's probably targeting about 16,000 runs this year. What's
This is
that?
for wheelchair runs.
Wheelchairs only, right? Well, not only, but and it also takes the pressure off the ambulance 911s, because they're doing some runs that Keene would have been called for, or we might have been called to for nursing homes or whatever it may be. So, and then we have our EMS Academy where we're teaching EMS classes, and it's been a fun trip. But I think we're doing quite well here. I think in Swanzey alone, you're about, correct me, Chief, if I'm wrong, about anywhere between 1,000 to 1,200 runs in a year. Yeah. And and we're there. We're right in your community, so we appreciate that, and we try to get it done as best we can. Just Connected Families, I've talked about this before, but I'm going to say it again. This is a great program that started out with a $4 million grant that we told the state of New Hampshire, it's a great grant, things are going really well, but when the grant money runs out, if we don't get a daily rate, we're going to shut it down. So the Department of Health and Human Services gave us a daily rate for each individual family that we're working with. And what it is we go in and work with kids at high risk of out-of-district placement in our communities. You hear about this all the time, and when you go to your school budgets, you hear about special ed costs and see how they're going through the roof, that these situations can cost anywhere between $200,000 to $500,000 per child, and for residential and educate them at the same time. And so what we do is we work with the families, and the state liked it so much, they asked us to start doing it in Sullivan County, Grafton County, and all the way up, and now we're pretty much around the state doing it right out of Cheshire County. It generates its own revenue, and then some, and that then some then goes back to the fund balance, and to help offset taxes. So it's a program that's helping communities, and it's also at the same time creating revenue that helps offset taxes for us too. And it's most importantly keeping children in the community with the support of their parents, because a lot of times the schools are doing what they need to do, but at 3 o'clock when that bell rings, they don't have it otherwise. And this is what this helps out. So it's an important program that we really feel good about, and actually been recognized by the National Association of Counties for the program. So the Sheriff's Department and dispatch, the chief it's evolving. You know, we're in 4 towns now. It could be in the near future in 5 towns doing law enforcement. Not because we want to, not because we're looking for it, but because communities can't either find the police officers, can't find, get somebody, then they lose them shortly thereafter. And so we're going in and doing that for the communities. And we're also, we have a contractual agreement with SAU 29 to do all their truancy work. And that's been going well. So that means an officer is placed at the middle school for 180 days a year. And then the rest of the time he's out on the roads. And it's really, from what Rob Millay has said, it's really been critical to have somebody to be able to work in those situations. We would love to find a guy to be, we've been asked by Monadnock High School to do their SRO, but it's just finding that person. So, that's, I want the guy for, that's Sheriff's Dispatch. As you know, the dispatch, I've told this story before, but I'm going to say it again because it relates to something else that affects you guys directly, and that is our towers in our communities where they have the radio frequency telecommunication equipment was at end of life. We were going on eBay to find parts. Parts went down if we didn't have it, and it would take a period of time because that was a down zone. And we had Motorola come in, do a study. It was a $4.4 million project. We told the commissioners that we would rather see if we can find it through grants and pay the cost. We were able to cover the full $4.4 million through grants. We did such a great job that Southwest Fire Mutual Aid is in the same boat. They're a little bit more. They're $5.6 million. They asked if we could help them raise the funds. And I will tell you that currently we've raised about $2.2 million of that funding. But I sent a letter, actually an email, a lengthy email today off to the Rural Health Transformation funding that has come through to the state. It's about $204 million. And we're in partnership with, we've connected with the Capital Region and Lakes Region to get all of this updated all the way up through. That's about 42% land mass covered, 8 counties, and it's about $19 million is what we need over 5 years. So we're excited about that. We're also looking at mobile health, the possibility of mobile health, and we're going into communities when somebody's had surgery through our program here, where we'd have to probably add staffing to it, but to really up the game on care in our region. So these are things that we're working on a daily basis.
And we don't actually fund Southwest Fire Mutual Aid. This is
Just-
just a partnership,
oh, yeah.
helping with funding sources that Chris is aware of that's going to help, because again, the towns pay for Fire Mutual Aid, so anything that he's able to do will trickle down to lower the costs or any increases that you may see for their need to upgrade.
And for the most part, everything else here is pretty self-explanatory, except for grants. Grants, we continue to do outstanding work with grants, our grants department. We're really the only county in the state of New Hampshire has a grants department. So we have about 41 grants coming through and about $13 to $16 million on a regular basis that's coming through either to the county or it's a pass-through for other situations, such as the rails trails. So, we saw what Pathways for Keene was doing. We also know that Mike Kowalski was doing some great work for Monadnock Rails Trails, so we coordinated with him to start writing all the grants. So that's what we've been doing. We just went to Hinsdale about a week ago, presented to the board there to connect there, but we've done, you name it, Troy, everywhere. And we're willing to write the grants to get this in. We see it as an economic issue, but more importantly, it's a quality of life issue. And so, and what happened this week is the state of New Hampshire had this group come in that was riding all over New Hampshire, and they chose this region too, which was a great showcase, so we were able to speak to them. They were shocked that the county was actually doing any level of work on this. They all came from other parts of New Hampshire. And what? You guys were helped writing grants, but we just feel like we have to be proactive and aggressive going after the monies that are out there. We see ourselves as the forgotten corner of the state, and so we have to yell a little bit louder. And so we're going to do that. And so if that brings more money our way and helps with all of us in our communities, I think it's a good thing. So that's where that is. We have other programs here, Cheshire County Community Power, the Handyman Program. I've already talked about EMS and the Smart Ride Partnership and the Rails Trail. And as I said before, some of the recognitions were, we were recognized at the national conferences for EMS and also the Handyman Program. And on the backside is really the money thing. And, I've said this before, but, we really wanted to take a look at, you guys all, people always want to know, well, why am I paying, what is the increase to taxes to be raised? And so we first started with ourselves and said, from 2019 to 2025, and as you can see, 2019 was 0.73 increase of taxes to be raised. 2020 was 1.39. 2021 was a 0% increase. 2022 was a 1.31% increase to taxes to be raised. 2023, 0%. 2024, a negative of 0.9%. And then in 2025, a 3.4%, and this year was a 3% increase, which is pretty amazing in this world right now. We're living with a lot of the cost shifting that's going on, a lot of the pressures that we're feeling from the federal or the state levels. It's getting more and more difficult to maintain the services that we need to. And again, I'll say 85.6% is statutorily required. Okay, I mean, when we talk about the nursing home, what you may not remember or realize is that we're not just paying for the nursing home, we're paying for anybody that qualifies for Medicaid in a nursing home or home care. And so that's like 270 people just on the nursing home side, and then there's the home care on top of that, and we're paying it.
Bill is about $9 million just out the door annually to pay, to support people that need Medicaid assistance. That is our county liability.
So, you know, we wanted to show that, you know, over that period of time, not including this year, but we were under 1% over that six-year period. And we've done that because if you look down below, projects that we decided to go after grants to do a lot of the projects that we're doing to help offset the tax base because we knew the fiscal realities of what you guys are all dealing with. And so, you know, and you know, recently, you know, we've been listening to the New Hampshire Fiscal Policy Institute and their presentation about downshifting. And if you know, their numbers that they're talking about are coming from the Department of Revenue Administration for the state of New Hampshire, or numbers that are they just have. That's what we're utilizing. And downshifting over the last 10 years, it's been a downshift of over $3 billion to the towns and in the communities that we live in, but also to the schools and the counties. So $3 billion, and look at what we've done. We've raised taxes during that period of time only at $1.8 billion. Now somebody will say that's an incredible large amount to increase, but think about it, we have this downshifting, you know, and it's just like, it's a constant from the state of New Hampshire. It's the constant fight. I mean, meals and room. You guys could receive meals and room. And back in the 67, 68, it was called the Great Reform. And they came out with pension reform, 4 pensions all locked into one. They are going to pay 35%. And initially, with a school, it was 40%. And shortly thereafter, they brought it back down to 35% for everybody across the board. And that was fine until they decided to bring it down into 2011 to 25%, and then down after that in 2015 to 0%. That had a huge effect on all of us. Millions of dollars all of a sudden. If you put together the county, schools, and towns or city of Keene, that was millions of dollars all of a sudden being pushed down on us after they said, what I call the broken promise. And those are things that we're having to struggle with. And this is not one side of the aisle or the other side of the aisle. This is decisions being made over a long period of time, and people not stepping up, you know, and doing what's right and just continuing to put more pressure on us. And the Meals and Rooms tax, it was a 60-40 split. State gets 60, the towns and the municipalities and the cities get 40. Now, it's been at 21 for a long, long time. They just bumped it up to 30. But in reality, they also took the 9% tax and brought it down to 8.5. So that actually, the revenue that they're getting in is less because they brought it down by 0.5. So really, it's about 27%, and we're supposed to be at 40. And if we're at 40, where would we be now? Where would we be now if none of that cost shifting went down? And my thing is I look at decisions made at a state level, and it has to make sense to me. You may be a big supporter of the dividends and interest tax going away. You may be saying that the cut to the business tax or the business enterprise tax is a good thing multiple times on the business tax. My thing is you just gave away $400 million of revenue that was coming into the state. So as a business mind, because we try to treat the county as a business model in trying to, you know, try to equal things all out, you just got rid of revenue. So whether you're for it or against it, I don't care. My thing is, where's the revenue that's going to be coming in to replace it? And it doesn't. What happens is then they push down to us. You know, whether it's, you know, we have one of the lowest Medicaid rates in the state of New Hampshire. One of the lowest. And in the country, yeah, well, in the country, that's what I meant. Yeah, the state of New Hampshire, it's in the top 3. And we also have, you know, but at the same time, we're in the top 3 or 2 for care. We really do a great job in caring, and they don't pay the daily rate that needs to be paid. And if they did, it would help lessen the burden on the taxpayers. And these are the things that, as a whole, we want to start talking about and have people understand. Whoever you support, whatever, ask them the questions. How are you going to make my life easier? What are you
Costs
going to
aren't
do?
going down.
No, I mean, we have 3 24/7 programs. The nursing home, and EMS, and Department of Corrections. Food costs aren't going down. And fuel's not going down, and labor costs are not going down. So, we have a battle ahead of us, but we have to have people that are willing to fight for us as communities, and those are the things we're saying, is just make people aware. So I just want to pass it over to Cheryl, and so she can just talk about her points, and then we'll take any questions, if that's all right.
So if you go below the increase in taxes, where you just see the Swanzey tax breakdown per thousand, this is actually a year old now, only because the equalized valuations are not out. But as a taxpayer in the town of Swanzey, when you get your bill, this is what you see, is that the town bill is collecting the town portion, the local education portion, the state education portion, and the county portion. That makes up the entire tax rate that you're collecting. Essentially, when the town collects this, they're collecting on behalf of the county, and then in turn cuts one check a year to the county for our portion. The reason why there's an equalized valuation column, which adjusts the net valuation that you're seeing, is because every town in the state has to do a full revaluation every 5 years. And because everyone is in a different rotation, the Department of Revenue Administration puts it through an equalization process that basically is trying to compare or market property value with market sales or whatnot, in order to get people as close to apples to for comparison purposes. So the equalization valuation is actually what's used in order to collect the county portion of the taxes. As Chris mentioned, he outlined the programs that we do, and as he, the reason why we're out here is there are a lot of people that don't understand what their county taxpayers dollars are paying for. They just assume we're the city or another town, and they don't. I mean, what the county does is very unique. We're not even like other states. Other states do a lot more of the infrastructure, like roads and bridges and whatnot. We handle the nursing homes, the jails, the Sheriff's Department Registry of Deeds, and then you as taxpayers pay to support those functions. We're very high in labor costs. We are actually probably one of the biggest employers in the county. Between all of our facilities, we employ almost 500 employees, so we're pretty significant in supporting the economy. And as we mentioned, the drive to find more revenue sources is what's going to help to be more sustainable, whether it's the grants or just pushing for, or finding money that supports the operations or things that we need to do to evolve. So that is kind of our driving force, is so that we don't have to pass the increases off to property taxes, that we can find other sources of revenue. The other piece of paper that I handed out here is just to give a visual, so that, because some people don't understand how the county taxes are apportioned in order to the different towns, but they're all based on property values. So this is a 3-year history, and if I look at the equalized values that were used for 2025, which was the bill that you all would have paid last December, what the Department of Revenue Administration does is they collect from all the towns in Cheshire County and the city of Keene their property valuations. They put it through this equalization process in order so that they're comparing apples to apples throughout the region, and the total combined property valuation for Cheshire County was $14,320,000,000. That's that total there. Of that, the town of Swanzey represented $1,102,000,000 of that overall 14 billion. That percentage of the total is 7.6957% of the overall total property. So simply put, the town of Swanzey is then responsible for 7.6957% of the $30 million of taxes to be raised that we have to collect in order to support our operations. So that's, for anyone that doesn't understand how the taxes are collected for the county, it's all on, again, which is really basically the state of New Hampshire, everything is on the back of the property taxes. So.
And just one last thing, one of the things that we're doing, we're in relationship with River Valley and Keene State College and working with them to develop, they have developed now, an LNA to LPN to RN to RNBA program, so that we have, not just for us, but for everybody in this region, have a better chance of getting nurses here. And we also have millions of dollars worth of travelers that are here, and we're renting homes so that they have a place they can find, so they'll come here, because other states were doing that. We had to compete with them. And we are about to accept our second visa nurse, which is a contract we started with a program called Visa Solutions. They have to go through every level step of process of going through multiple sessions of interviews and vetting, and then they have to get their Social Security before they can come here. And then they come here, and it's a contract for 3 years. It's money's probably a little bit more upfront, but over long term, these are our employees, and we're not paying, we're paying for an RN or even an LPN, but RN's, $80 to $90 an hour. The company, the agency, right, that level of money. And
they're only committed to us for 3 months at a time with the agencies, at least with this program.
Yes.
They're then committed to us for 3 years.
So they're coming in from Canada, and we have our second one will be here in about 2 weeks, and the first one's doing extremely well. So
with hopes that after 3 years that they actually like the area and they stay with us.
yeah. So that's what we have. Any questions? Yeah. Thank you. Appreciate it. What we've done, first of all, we send our grant director to 2 national grant conferences a year. We do it because we want to know what the heartbeat of where things are going. So one of the changes that we have had done recently is that we're looking at more private and what that means and how to go about that and what that would mean to us to go after that, or do we have to partner with somebody to be able to do it, whatever it may be. But we've got to be aggressive on that. But what I am seeing slowly is that we're sort of getting back to a level of norm. For a long time, we weren't seeing any grants coming out from the feds. And then it has started coming a little bit, but now we're starting to get more and more back to the semi-norm, or what maybe the new norm is. So that's a good thing for us. And again, Suzanne Bansley, who's our grant director, every day she's on there, and she has multiple libraries of deep diving into where grants are. You give her a category, she can go right in and seek it out. So it's a good thing. And the grant program, we have a grant writing program. So we've taught now 70 people in Cheshire County, because we just couldn't keep up with the requests, of people asking for help, and we want to. So we said, let's teach them. And it's really been successful. 70, I know of one program, they had written multiple grants prior to and it's the Montessori School in Keene, and they've now they wrote 6 right after and received all 6. It was somebody else this week, in Troy, the steeple, congressional spending request that they received for the steeple. He went through the program, and he's right away said, we got it, thank you very much, thank you. So whatever we can do to help, that's, we just want the money coming our way. I didn't hear you, what? No. Thank you.
But if there are things that cross that you see that might be available, she can probably do research, and she can support
Yeah.
in
Yeah,
certain
and
areas.
if you ever had something, then you'd reach out to me because I'm the gatekeeper.
Right, yeah.
Because what I found is a lot of people were going directly to her, and she has a hard time saying no. She wants to be helpful. Then all of a sudden, I'm taking spatula and spatulaing her off the ceiling because, she's got all this data stuff that needs to be done for the Fed grants, and then all these other things she's doing. So it comes through me, and a lot of times it is, all right, you guys know the guts of it. Write the guts into it, and we'll take a look at if there's any wording changes or anything like that. But it's been successful. We just want to help, as best we can. September. Yep. I would say that you should reach out to me or if somebody's interested in going, because if it's usually about 18 people in the class at the high, and I'm thinking that there were 12 on the wait list last time. So I would say if you have somebody interested, just have them reach out to me, and I'll tell Suzanne to put you on the list. Yeah. Yeah. So that's September. So that's where we're at, and you'll be getting something from us very soon, either tomorrow or Friday, probably Friday. Yeah.
So if I'm reading this correctly, the percentage of the county budget that Swanzey pays has actually gone down in the last few years. Is that correct?
It's very, I didn't look at this specifically, but that would mean that your overall percentage of the property overall population has gone down at a greater rate than somebody else that has gone up. I mean, in these years that we even have a 0% increase, that doesn't necessarily mean that you've got, every year the thing comes up, I say, oh, we got winners and losers, because even though we may have not needed any more than last year, it might be that a town's properties valuations have gone up higher, and therefore they've got more of a property base to collect. So what you're probably seeing is that yours didn't go up as much as other areas of the county did.
The only thing that we can control is the percentage, because then we have to send that off to the Department of Revenue Administration up at the state, and they have these formulas that they look at that is beyond my pay grade, and they come back and tell us where it's at, and that's where we go from. So if we keep it, we try to keep it as where we think it's low. But I also say, I'm seeing a lot of counties really struggle right now. You saw in WMUR that Stratford County. Stratford County pretty much said that they were broke, and that they were cutting a program that was a $4 million program, and they still had deeper cuts to go. Our balance is, you got to keep a fund balance that one is healthy for a multitude of reasons, because we want to operationally, if everything went into crisis mode across the country, we would have 5-6 months worth of ability to be able to continue and pay people so they could live. And at the same time, we bond. We go out and bond for whatever project we have, which I will tell you right now, we don't have a major project that I know of, because our facilities are pretty much there. We may have smaller bonding here and there that we may have to do, $2 million or whatever it may be, but no, 30 million, 40 million type projects. But their fund balance is not where it is. It means that also that Moody, who gives the ratings, they went down from a AA down to a single A, and I mean, it's really affected everything they do. And it's not just there. It's, I've heard in Sullivan County they're having struggles. I've heard in Belknap County, well, we know in Belknap County, because if you look on there, on the back side, you can see 37 or 35% increase or whatever it is. That is, a lot of that time is because they've eaten into their fund balance. And so they have nothing, and all of a sudden they have the spikes, That's why we've always said, like with the monies that we've received, like ARPA money, we tried to stay away from forever funding. So, we did do increases for staff, but then we told them, told the delegation and the commissioners, and Commissioner Clark and Commissioner DeBernard are here tonight, that we need to own it as soon as possible, because if we don't, it's going to be a spike. and it's going to be something that we have to continually fill. So, you know, we did one-time projects. That's what we did with ARPA. Well, we did EMS. That was a lot of it too. So it's a balancing. It's fun. It's a challenge. You know.
That's where all his hair went.
Yeah, yeah.
I wanted to compliment you on your behavioral program that is helping keep children in their own homes.
Mm-hmm.
That's outstanding. And I also want to say how pleased I was to notice on Eastern Avenue in Keene the other day that they're working on the rail trail to open it up for when they've been abandoned to
Yeah.
Route 101. That's excellent.
That's where we met that group the other day, and they were talking about it. Then they went on a bike tour. I think they went up to the winery up on Summit and other places, the co-op and all that. So they really loved the area, and a lot of them said we want to come back, which is, it's an economic engine, man. We gotta keep selling it. You know, we've got great arts in this area, and we've got trails. We got to sell all that stuff. Good restaurants. I hear there's a new pizza joint up the road. Down it. Damn, you're right. He keeps telling me that. I keep saying up, and he's like, no, down. All right. Anything else? Nothing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night. Good night. Good night.
It's right in front of us. We're blind. Yep.
Fire department left for a first alarm.
Is Josh coming?
No, I took care of Josh. If you want a little
Uh-oh.
update on the Josh, I
That
can.
sounds-
It was very simple. It's just, I'll make it quick. We just had a thing, and Mr. DeRusso from Public Works is kind enough to assist him and help him out and with the situation of the water on the roof. And I talked to Joe today, and Joe's a team player, so he said, Jimmy, no problem. I'll go send some boys over there and we'll help Josh out. And I thank you again, Joe, for that.
Well, I'm talking to Josh today.
Oh, you-
We'll take a look at it next week.
Beautiful. Thank you very much for that. So Josh is done, and we're gonna move right to Mr. Self, which is sitting right here in the front row. That would be me, then. Yep. I didn't mean to wake you up, but, I try to do it gently for you, Scott. We had a long day today, I understand.
Yeah, we did. But,
Okay.
I'm just here to give you an update on the Swanzey Water and Sewer Committee. And the committee voted a recommendation for the selectmen to start billing the metered accounts at a cost per gallon basis rather than the unit-based procedure they're using now. And the reason why is, well, I'll get to that reason why really. We came up with a 1 cent per gallon cost. And the reason that is because, let's see, it costs like, we figured around 70,000 gallons a day going through that plant, give or take. It's right around in there, it's about average. It might be a little high, but it's around average. So 70,000 gallons a day times a year, 365, that's about 550, 25,550,000 gallons a year. So it cost us, I think, 241,519,000 to run the plant, so we divided gallons into that. and it came out to .0094. So we rounded it up to 1 cent a gallon. That's easy enough to go.
That
So-
.6 will add up too.
Pardon me?
That extra .6 will add up.
It will, but it'll add up and even out too. It's pretty close. You can go either way. You know,
Got it.
we might be running 65,000 gallons a day through there, but
Yeah.
70 is a good figure for right now. So that would be the basis for that, a 1 cent per gallon rate for the metered users. The unmetered users, it would have to stay the same for right now. They're billed at a standard user rate, a single user rate, which is $85 per quarter. And where that came from, and we'll go back to the beginning here, when the plant was put online, they had to estimate how many gallons the plant was going to go through there, how much it was going to cost, and what they did was they came up with a rate of, they figured 260 gallons a day per person, which is very high. But they figured that anyways, per household. That's a 3-bedroom household, 3-person household. So that is your standard user rate, which is $85 a quarter. So going by the metered users we have now, we'll take one of them. One of the metered users is they're putting 886,691 gallons per quarter went into the system. And I know it's a lot of numbers, but I'm going to keep it really simple here. So the 260 gallons a day times 90 days is 23,400 gallons. That would be a typical household user using that much per quarter. So the way they set it up was that they would take that 24,000 or 23,400 and divide it into what the usage was, which again is at 886,691 as our example, one of the places. So that came out to, and I've got it here, so that came out to about 37.8 users. So what that means is that's equivalent. So, you know, it's, again, to go back, it's the 23,400 per unit. You divide that into what the 886,000 some odd gallons was, and that's, you get the equivalent users out of that. Follow what I'm saying there, right? Equivalent users there. So then the equivalent users for that project were 37.8, when actually there are 98 users there. So it's about, they're paying about a third of what they should be paying. So they paid in that quarter at the 38 users, and I will stop there for a second. What the original formula did was they divided that figure again, that 23,400 into their usage for the quarter, and then they multiplied that by the $86, and that's how they got their bill, which in that case it turned out to be, it's about $3,213. So what it costs us is 1 cent per gallon to go through there, and with that 1 cent per gallon times the 886 is the $8,866 is what it costs us to treat it, and they paid us $3,213. So there's a deficit there, and we've been running a deficit in Swanzey here for a while, West Swanzey. So that's the reason for the change to actual cost per gallon rather than the user cost that we've been using, formula. And we got the 1 cent per gallon from that math of adding up what it costs to do it.
Makes sense.
So that's where we're at with that. As far as the standard users fees, that probably can remain the same. There are other apartment complexes that are not metered, and again, it was a very convoluted formula they used. I'll just basically get into it a little bit. They used 3.4 people per user. You know, that user I was talking about before, the $85 user, they figured 3.4 people would use that much water. So in the apartment houses that they would assign users fees to, they had a formula that was 3.4 was one user. I think 2 point some odd thing was 3 people or 4 people, on and on like that. It's very confusing how they did it, but they came up with this. They called them S units, I think, and you might want to look at them as points. So they had an inventory, and they took inventory as how many people were in the apartment, and then they assigned points to it. And those points would be their S units, which they would multiply times the $85 to get the cost for those apartment houses that were not metered. So in other words, they judge it by the amount of people who are living in there, and that was a voluntary inventory which is sent out every year, which is not done, has been done for many years now. So either whatever level they were at when it stopped, or somehow, we really don't know how those numbers are there. But again, those S units, they call them, or points, we'll call them, they can be adjusted to adjust those rates up to where they should be. You don't really have to put a meter on it right now. I know we're going to meter those. It's just a good idea, but it's going to take maybe a year or more to meter those houses. If you want to get those up to where they should be, which is up to you guys, you can adjust those S units, or user S units they call them, to reflect the users, the users that are in that particular apartment house. Or you can simply, if there are 5 apartments, you give it 5 users fees, one or the other. But those, you're gonna have to look at those. Steve Biddle will help you with that. He's been running numbers, and I just touched the iceberg on it here. He knows way more about it than I do. But that's a way that you can do that. But we recommended that you put it for the cost per gallon at the next billing cycle, with a letter that Bill nicely has prepared for you. I don't know, you've probably seen it, I've seen it. And it explains a lot of it out there as what's going on.
And by next billing cycle, you're looking at September?
September, yeah, September. And it would be the actual cost per gallon. And, it's going to boost those metered fees up probably by 2/3, somewhere in there, maybe a little less than 2/3 or something like that. But it will be provable as to what it actually costs to treat a gallon there as to what they use, because they're metered. You can't argue that.
With the board's approval, we'd like to put that informational newsletter out. The bills go out the first 10 days of June. If the board approves that, letter will be accompanied with their bills.
Oh, everybody gets their bill in June, and then you're gonna put that letter with their June bill, and then their next bill is September, and that's when the increase comes, right? Can you just tell me, what did you say that they figured the average use is, 260 a day?
They figured 260 gallons a day per person, or actually per unit.
Per unit,
So it'd
which
be a
you,
unit for that day's use. Normally, it's engineering standards are about 130 gallons. It looks like they doubled it, and engineers always do that anyways. They err on the high side. They usually double their figure sometimes just as a cushion in there. So that might be where that came from. I don't know. But
we have 2-bedroom, mostly, homes in the park there. You know what my usage is per person?
no,
62.
that's more like the average use is, from what I can tell in Swanzey, is around 90 to 92 gallons for those units. And the unit, the group I was talking about, the 886, 91,000 that they use there, those are more like single-family homes.
Yeah.
And they average out to around 92, I think, gallons per unit per day. So that's more like it. But you usually don't cut it that close anyways. That's why I guess they use 130 in engineering terms anyways, just to make sure you have a cushion there. But the 260 was way high, and that's what happened. They used the inflated figure to divide into their usage and got the low number, and no one picked it up.
Got it.
He
Steve did,
had a lot of help. Steve said he had a lot of help from Sly as well, with regard to how it's handled in North Swansea, because it's a different setup.
It is, right, yeah. They do have a different setup over there. And I guess probably get into that too. They'll probably get them maybe the same as far as he had suggested, or actually Underwood Engineers did a study on it, which I didn't know they did, but it was in
2020.
Was it 2020? That's when it was, yeah. He sent it out today. And there's an example on the bottom of that page, or I guess the last page of it, as another town that is using the user fee, the standard user fee, but it was much more simple than what we're doing with it. So that might be the way to go. I don't know. But
It's fantastic. So that being said, why don't we move to approving the letter? I think the select board, have you read the letter and you saw the changes that Terry made some changes or something?
Terry just gave some additional information to add to it, so I
Right.
did that this afternoon.
Right, did you have an opportunity, Alan, when I mentioned it to you, to briefly look through that letter?
I did not. I apologize.
Yeah, that's okay, but do you want to trust the board here? And
I do indeed.
Because I just want to say he did an unbelievable job. I actually read it, and I called Laurie immediately, and I asked, where did this come from?
That was my comment to Joe, too.
Joe surprised
He's like, "Do you have any
me. I
edits?"
thought
I'm
I
like,
knew
"No."
the Joe DeRusso,
Yeah.
but there's a side to him that I don't know, I guess.
Kind of a
And
slam, I think.
I
I
was-
appreciate you if he doesn't.
But there was a side to Joe that I didn't know he had in him.
I
so-
move to approve the letter as presented by DPW Director Joe DeRusso.
Second.
So now we'll go on with the minutes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Good job, Joe. Good job,
There was,
sir.
there was one other matter that the committee voted on, and that was to send out requests for proposals for the upcoming engineering. And since then, I've spoken with Larry about it, I think I spoke with Joe about it, and we're rethinking that. And it was a motion by, recommendation by the committee, but we're gonna revisit that tomorrow. in the
Good.
Meeting, because it looks like it'd be much wiser to stick with Underwood for right now. They've already been involved in it.
But I thought that's what the committee was siding toward anyways.
They were, but I guess it was a bit of caution. I think Larry Crowder brought it up that you might want to send out requests for proposals just in case the grants require it and you lose a grant just because of that
Oh,
technicality.
yeah.
So that's what it was.
I spoke to DES about it, and seeing that we did an RFP, Mike Brantley and I did an RFP for the planning study, that DES said that this could be just another phase of that, so it wouldn't require an RFP. And then the other thing Steve and I learned the other day from having a meeting with Terry, Underwood has been working on this a lot more than we realized. They were the ones that did the planning for the intermunicipal agreement with the plant. That's where that whole 280,000, I speculated all along that 280,000 gallons of flow that we own up there, and they did. They researched Swanzey as part of that. So they've done quite a bit with it. They're quite familiar. We're pleased with Terry. He's actually working on a proposal what the next phase of engineering would be for the project, and encourage that test borings right away so they can get a better understanding of what the cost of the excavation is going to be. Do test borings all the way up through 10 to see if they run into ledge, to see what type of material they run into, and start going more towards a final design. So he's working on that. He said it'd probably take him like 2 weeks to get a proposal together.
And I could add that they're helping us with applications for grants as well already.
So are you planning to wait till the committee meets again? We make that decision?
We're going to revisit that tomorrow.
What, do we have a meeting tomorrow?
Tomorrow morning, yeah, that committee meeting
King is
here at 10.
coming tomorrow.
And King will be here too, yeah. But we'll revisit that in that meeting and probably have another vote on it.
So many meetings.
Yeah.
9 in the morning tomorrow?
10.
10.
10, yeah. You can sleep in tomorrow.
But I'll get you a copy of that updated letter so we can move off of the committee.
Sure. Oh, yeah.
You can, here, you can have this one,
Bye.
Scott.
Can I have that one?
Yep.
I'll take that. One more thing. I approached the governance committee on their first meeting they had here a couple weeks ago, something about this project, and that it'd be a good maybe project for them to help us out with getting out the word to the public, and they thought it was a great idea, so
Nice.
they're like on standby. They wanted me to mention it to you because they figure that their orders are going to come from you because they're a committee, so I'm mentioning it to you guys.
Send them a copy of the letter too.
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
Any
Good
questions
use of
about
the
any of it?
governance committee.
Yeah, we'll use them to get the word out about how it's gonna work.
No, we'll know more tomorrow after we meet again.
Yeah, and no more questions on our project for right now, right?
No, you explained it well.
Good, I hope so.
I just have one, Scott. What would you think of sending out a notice with June to alert people to a meeting, all the ratepayers, get them together in July or August, maybe at the high school, and give them an opportunity to get an overview from you and Steve and Joe?
If you think that we're gonna have the billing ironed out by then, or if if Steve thinks we're gonna have it ironed out by then, that might be a good idea, but I don't know if we will have it finalized. We were gonna, at the meeting tomorrow, I was gonna suggest to the group that we table or actually hand over all the billing part to you guys, we've done pretty much, I think, what the committee is doing and continue to focus on the engineering. But we can continue to pick up the rate part of it there. Steve said he'd be willing to help on maybe a smaller committee or something like that to figure out the rates. But yeah, if you get the rates figured out by then, that's great.
Yeah, you may want to check with Steve, because I'm not sure if it's going to be, if that will be too soon.
It might be, it depends on if it's figured out. Right. So it would be a good idea if we do, so we can think about that anyways.
Is it something you could bring up tomorrow and then we could move on it? Because we don't have much time before the bills go out.
Yeah, I can bring it up tomorrow. Do you want the governance committee involved in that?
Absolutely.
It could be one of their meetings, right? Yeah, okay, that might be a good idea.
It'd be
And-
nice to, I don't know if you were here when we had the gentleman at the very beginning talking about some rumors in his neighborhood.
Oh, yeah,
and
I was here.
all of that.
Yeah.
It'd be nice to be out front with
Oh,
everything
yeah.
so people
Okay.
know what's being worked on.
I said, yeah, good idea. Even if we don't get it ironed out, yeah, it'd be good to have a meeting there. Yeah, because there's something coming up. Yeah, that'd be good. We'll do that.
Oh, your mic.
So, yeah, I'll mention it to the committee members tomorrow, and we will see if we can have a vote on that.
And it's great that you got the governance committee involved. What's the new name of the committee?
Well, we haven't
didn't come up with
brought you anything yet, so nothing has changed. I was at the same meeting Scott was. I think I left,
Yeah.
and then Scott approached them, so I missed that, so thank you for that update. But yeah, they need to bring us a new mission to the board to approve, so I think that will be coming shortly.
I have a suggestion for the governance committee that maybe you could relay, if it's not too much for them, but maybe they could also help us promote a new public works building.
Yep, that would be one of their tasks that we're working on, getting that new mission and just help with anything community and getting the message out.
Excellent.
Very interesting.
You can, I don't know if it'll mean much to you here, but I can decipher them for you.
I mean, I can jot a lot of those numbers down too, but.
Yes.
Thank you, Scott.
Thanks, Scott.
Thanks, Scott.
Scott, thank you. Doing a good job. We gotta authorize the funds for the fire station IT and supplies. Is that the next one I'm on? Approved.
Yeah, I think that was, you had me add that before last week. I think there was some questions on where the funding was coming from.
Yeah,
or
I think,
something.
yes. Do we want to talk about it, or do we need to? Billy, you okay with the funds for the fire station right now? Okay.
If we don't have the numbers, or I haven't seen the numbers.
No, I think just anything that isn't covered in the contract, the construction contract would come from Invest in Age, I believe. That's the impression that I've been under this whole time.
Well, because we lost the congressional spending, that 200,000 would have covered some of the soft costs. But that's what we've
Yeah.
got to fill the gap for. But it'd be helpful to know how the numbers came in. They were allocated 75,000, and what did the number come in at?
So didn't Mike give us those numbers? Didn't we have those numbers?
I don't think we have all the final invoices, because I think,
Originally, it was in the low 90s, and then there was some backing out. So
yeah.
But
I think,
ultimately-
I know Mark had a question too the other day about the washer and dryer, right? I did. a
Extractor,
qu-
yeah.
Okay, yeah, sorry, but I did a quick research back through emails, because I do remember having an exchange with the architect on that, and I have an email that says there was 75,000 allotted for furnishings of the
yeah, that's
department.
part of the soft cost. That
Yeah.
was part of the 300,000
Yeah.
that included the
So is that
architectural.
included in,
Sorry?
that would be included in Cody's portion?
No,
No?
no, it's part
Okay.
of the soft costs.
Okay.
Okay, so
Oh.
where does that put us? I guess we'll have to,
Well, when the invoices come in and we
Right.
have that, it'd just be, and when we have all those invoices, I'll come to you for a motion to
okay, maybe
use-
we can have the rest, we'll look and make sure we get all the invoices in for the next meeting, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, and I'm
Okay.
sure they're gonna be, a few more things that they're gonna have to purchase as they
Right.
get in there.
And we're getting very close, I
Yeah.
think, right, Joe?
Yeah.
What are we, 3 weeks out?
Yeah, and there's gonna be a couple things we're gonna be waiting on. We got them, the fire department's small generator actions are temporary, but the big generator's not going to be in. Those front doors, they're waiting on Marvin on how long it should be, but that, we can still change them after the fact. But they're getting real close now.
We-
Grade the parking lot for paving next week, the second parking lot, and they can all stay back in the pavement.
Did you have a chance to look at those few changes I talked about?
Yeah.
Good. Yep.
Working about,
Good.
they were authorized,
Good.
those are mistakes with the architect's plan.
Right.
How did a light switch end up in the shower?
There's been a lot of that with the plans.
Happens.
Okay.
Yeah, the proposal for IT, I think, was just shy of 11,000. That I do have a solid quote for. So they'll move forward with that.
Okay. Would you like to discuss the Carpenter home a little bit? You just wanted to just touch a little on that?
Yep, yeah, so I wanted to just maybe bring the new board members up to speed on where we are with the Carpenter home. So that has, I guess the board probably could give a history if you don't know, Alan. We took it in, what was the year we took it before, when it transferred from the nursing home? Anyway, we took it
It was
back
pre-COVID, but
pre-COVID, and for how many years now? 3 at least, we've had Honeybee Hollow in there as a daycare center. And last year, that was one of the first things we did was worked on a lease for Honeybee Hollow. They had some concerns with some of the maintenance on the building, and we don't fund a lot to fix some of the things, and there have been a few maintenance requests coming in for new doors and heating and roofing and so on and so forth. So just a little bit of a brief history there, but their agreement is, we signed a 1-year lease agreement with them, and that will be coming due, I believe, the 1st of July. And we've been just trying to work with Honeybee, and the board did a lot of work with them last year trying to present like a business plan, because they want to be able, they're a huge resource for daycare. They're right there next to the school. They want to be able to expand their class sizes and grow, take on new employees and so on and so such, but they can't do that without expanding or making renovations to the building, if you will. So we've been just, they could qualify for grant funding if they had some sort of partnership with the town, which would also benefit the town, because we could use that grant funding to fix the building, come up with a design for the building. So basically, I just wanted to put this out there, give you a little bit of history on it, and see what the board, if they can just, think about what do you want to do with the building moving forward. Their agreement is coming due in July, and I think
Are they using the entire building right now?
as much as they can that's
Yeah,
usable.
As much as they can, and as Lori said, lately she's been having a lot of requests, and is there 8,000 or something is available for funding. I gotta meet with her and sit down and talk about what our top priorities are, because there's clearly not enough money to do all the things she wants to do. So in the near future, I need to meet with her and talk about that. We're getting ready to build a pressure wash, but like I said, there's only that $80-some-odd thousand there. Got the new roof that she requested last year, but she got a pretty good list. We're going to be paving the roadway, not the parking lot. We're going to be paving the roadway shortly. But she had with me, but she expressed to somebody else about wanting to do more paving and parking lots, and that's not going to happen. It's just the road. The road's broken up pretty bad. But I do plan on meeting with her either within a week or two and going over what her priorities are, and we can discuss it with the board. Really, to do everything.
Yeah, and so
Is she talking-
as landlords,
Sorry.
we have a responsibility to do some
Right.
of the
Is she
maintenance.
talking about expanding the building, adding on to the current building?
That really hasn't been discussed, but there are, I think, areas within the building that they'd like to, like, take a wall down to expand, but we're not sure if we can do that because structurally, we need a structural engineer to go in there and tell us what we could do. But
It would be quite the project, because it's an old building, it's not
Yeah.
in greatest condition as it is, so it would be quite expensive to do what she's looking to do.
So I think that, you know, it should just be on the board's radar to, you know, if it doesn't work out, if the board didn't want to enter into a longer-term lease agreement, because by entering into a long-term lease agreement is, would be helpful to get grants. And without entering into that, they won't be able to get the grants, so they may choose to go somewhere else. So then, what does the board want to do with this building? Just
And
food
we
for-
don't have the power to give them a long grant right now. We have to bring that to vote.
Right.
To do that.
Yeah.
So we'd have to get through July 2, if we decide to bring it, right? We'd have to come up with some kind of plan to finish off the year. So we will discuss it.
What are they thinking in terms of a partnership?
I think they'd like to see a long-term lease. I'm not sure if it'd be like 20 or 10, 20, 30 years. I think I
Last
can.
time it was 20.
Yeah, because it does bring benefit. Like I said, you're more apt to, you know, you're using it for a cultural resource, educational resource, so you are more apt to get grant funding by doing that.
So we want to keep them there.
That would be
Probably.
my recommendation.
So partnership is not, I misunderstood you then. What they need from us, as Jim mentioned, is go to the warrant, get approval to have a longer-term lease. Give them a 5-year with three, 4, whatever, 5-year options to get them their 20 years. So it's not really a partnership. It's really more of getting approval to be able to move
From
forward.
the town,
Correct.
a long-term commitment from the
Yeah.
town so they
Yeah,
can.
and I can work.
And
if
what I
we-
worry about is it really gonna, if it does affect the grant, it could be in our best interest. At the beginning, I think we were against it a little, like that's a lot, you know, to knock ourselves in. But the more I look at it and listen to everything, I don't think it can hurt us. I don't think it can hurt us. I don't think, I'm trying to think of
And it
ways
is a
that
great
it wouldn't.
resource for the
Because we're gonna
community.
better the building, and if, right, and we own the building.
It's a
And we're gonna
resource,
get,
it's right there in
we're
the
gonna
center
put that
of
building
town.
back together.
One way or the other, the building's gonna need quite a bit of work.
That's what I'm saying, and right now, we don't have the funds to do that. I mean, some of the stuff that she needs done is just out of our reach. I mean, the building's old, it's got some crookedness, and like you said, we are pulling up the floors, we don't know what we're gonna find.
Definitely not knocking down.
We need actually an engineer, don't you, to go in and look at it, and,
I would, yeah.
so,
So I can, you know, do a little bit of research too as far as like the terms
right.
of the lease, if the board wants me to do that, I can look into that, and if the board would consider going long-term.
Yeah, but we could build it to get to the
We
warrant.
can't without getting the approval.
If
but
you
so-
would consider putting it on the warrant too,
Right.
yes, correct.
We could consider that and build something to get
Right,
the rest of the
right.
year, and then we can
Give them a
decide.
1-year lease.
Give them a 1-year lease.
Because it's in our interest to have that building being used.
Correct.
It's a great use.
Well, one of the things is, it is a great use, it is a big asset to have in our town. It's very hard to get daycare and stuff, but. Okay, thank you for bringing that to our attention, Laurie.
Is it worth us doing a tour there at some point as a
We
board?
haven't done it,
Oh, you have done it?
but you're welcome to go do it.
We can get there anytime you want.
Yeah,
All right.
Joe will take you up there.
Yeah, I would be interested in seeing, I've never been in it.
yeah. Great, reach out to, we'll connect and schedule a time with Joe to go
Okay,
up there.
thank you.
The assessment on the foundation for the Grange
Thanks,
Hall.
Good night, Joe.
Thanks for coming.
Joe, have a good evening. So the Grange Hall, what is
Grange Hall, yes.
foundation?
Okay, so we've been talking about submitting for the grant through LCHIP for the Grange Hall, and we did, they accepted our letter of intent right away and opened the portal, so we have a couple more weeks, I think, to get the application entered into the portal. But obviously, I think I've explained this in the past, a big part of it is the use of the building. And we thought we'd start at the foundation and work our way up because, you know, I think the town has been told through one engineer that you can fix the foundation, it's fine, you have to do X, Y, Z. And then I think we've heard from another engineer that, nope, it's not structurally sound.
We were like this.
We were like this. So we're here, but I think in order to when we're applying for this grant, I think it would be good to at least have a solid quote of something from maybe another engineer saying, this is what it needs, and then we could.
An outsider, somebody with no meat on the
Exactly.
bone.
So then at
Somebody
least
that's
we
gonna
can-
walk in there
so
and
that
just look
at least when
at it.
we're
and give us-
applying for the grant, we can say, we're gonna fix the foundation, right? Because we know that that's where we need to start at least. So that's something that we can put into the application. So basically, Stefan, we've been just going back and forth on this, and I think the name of the person that Bill had mentioned a couple meetings back, I told Stefan, go ahead and reach out to him. So he contacted him to see if he could do the assessment, and he did not have time, but he recommended another person, and I think I have the quote here in the packet.
Is this the one in the packet?
Yep. It's $1,900.
$1,950.
Yeah, $1,950. I can find it in here. This thing is long. I'll tell you the name of it.
Right Track Design.
You go ahead. You already have it right in front of you. Okay. What was it?
Right Track.
Right Track Design. Will come out and do the assessment as stated in here for $1,950. So we were looking to get the board's authorization to have them come out and give us an assessment on the foundation for the Grange Hall. And that would come out of, what do we put?
Goldenrod Grange Capital Reserve Fund. Ready?
Does anybody have any discussion about this?
I think it's a great idea.
Want to move on it?
I move to accept the proposal from the Right Track Design, Inc. in the amount of $1,950 as stated in the statement of work dated May 11th, 2026, and further authorize the withdrawal of the funds to come from the Goldenrod Grange Capital Reserve Fund for this purpose.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Good job.
Great, thank you.
Okay, it looks like we need a couple of computers for the clerk's office, right?
Yeah, so we've been kind of going back and forth since we've had the new IT vendor. We've never had a scheduled rotation of computers, you know, that usually they're on like a 5-year schedule. So we are working on getting that. It's just that these things keep coming up and IT keeps finding other issues, a couple of laptops, but the town clerk's office has really been struggling
Hi, Kathy.
with their aging machines. I think she said the renewals, because we used to do like the warranties, we haven't paid for a warranty, or they haven't been under warranty since 2022. And the software updates, security, it just keeps failing the department. It's really creates delays and lines in the lobby, and it's really showing. So she's reaching out to IT saying it's not working, and so we were hoping that the board would entertain using money from the town's IT management services fund. I think there's a little over 100,000 in there, just to purchase 2 new desktops for the town clerks.
In the amount of,
Up to $3,000.
Let's see, right here I have, she didn't have time to send me a quote. They actually took a few days off last week. I was happy for her. So we have, let's see, could replace both PCs. Okay, so they're $14.49 each for each computer. So we would just look for up to $3,000 from the,
There's nothing else we have to do to them or nothing, we just,
nope,
that's it.
yeah, just purchase the computers and they'll take care of everything else.
You have any questions on this? Do you have any questions on
Seems
this?
reasonable.
I move to authorize up to $3,000 for the purchase of 2 computers and to further authorize the funds to come from the Town Hall Information Management System Expendable Trust Fund for this purpose.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Very good.
Awesome.
Okay, the elderly and disability tax deferral application. So that is up to you, Marcus.
I move to approve the slate of elderly and disabled tax deferral applications.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I move to approve the veterans tax exemption for M240L40.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And I move to authorize the town administrator, Lori Radiola, I'll get it right sooner or later, to sign the supplemental loan agreement for the Water Pollution Control Revolving Loan Fund Program.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you for sending it, Lori.
You're welcome. I forgot to include it in the packet. I apologize.
Okay. So now we're,
I do have.
old business, yeah?
Okay, maybe, well, this should have been under old business, I guess. I spoke with Sharon Greatbatch this morning and Rick again, and we were hoping to, I don't know if we spoke with Rick earlier, but there's some chair covers that we are decided that we're gonna, I think we can pull that right out of our budget, that we're gonna purchase from one of the residents that had used the hall. So that's that. So we're not going to order new chairs, but if we could purchase the,
Cot and tables.
yes, the cart and 2 tables. The cart for the chairs and 2 carts for the tables and 6 round tables. So he doesn't have to keep hauling them up and down. And that amount is $2,805.
So basically, we stopped the approval of the chairs because I suggested that we get a better one. But I walked in tonight and I spotted these covers over the chair and it looks like it could do the job for a really reasonable price. So we thought we could hold off on the chairs for now, go with what we got, get the tables and that, and I think it's a good move and it's actually we're saving money. So, you want to build that motion?
Where's it coming from?
So it would be the same account that we did last time. What was that? Hang on.
We're gonna do up to $3,000 on that too.
Huh?
We're gonna do up to $3,000 on that too. 2,805.
Yeah. Yeah, because actually that would allow for us to do, so right before you came in, Rick mentioned that he found, he toured the building,
On the white ones.
he found some white chair covers out back,
Yeah.
and he's looking to purchase another, so again, we don't have to buy the chairs, but if he wants to be able to cover the chair, have them available for residents coming in. So I don't think it would be too much. I think he said they're like $3 or $4 a chair cover. So we could use the remaining funds out of that to purchase a few more chair covers. So I think up to 3,000 would be good. I'm gonna get that fund. Hold on here. I just gotta find it.
So we can solve the chair covers too, you're gonna incorporate all that, right? And what were they, $160, I think you said, right?
I think so.
It was 160.
Hang on. Was that the 22nd, that meeting?
Yes.
Was it? Oh, yeah, you're right, it was. So the 29th?
Are you looking up the motion?
Yeah.
Just where the fund's gonna come from.
think it's the Whitcomb Hall Expendable Trust Fund. But I think there's the other, what's the other one called? Where is it? Sorry, guys. I think just use the Whitcomb Hall Expendable Trust Fund. I know the other one, it was the other one. I don't have the list of, yeah, let's just use that one. Whitcomb Hall Expendable Trust Fund. Motion to withdraw.
What are we buying?
For the purchase of one chair cart. Hold on. Okay, one event chair dolly. And 2 folding table dollies. And 6 round tables.
Make a motion to expend up to $3,000 from the Whitcomb Hall Expendable Trust Fund for the purchase of 1 chair dolly, 2 folding table dollies, and 6 round tables.
Second.
Oh, and
And a few covers.
a few seat covers. Thank you.
Second?
Yes, I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Administration.
I did just have one other thing.
Yep.
I just wanted to give you guys, if you want to take one of these and pass it down. This is just a breakdown of the funding for the new finance position that we were able to find. Teresa created this just spreadsheet here. It shows the amount that we need. You'll see with this, if we were to hire a start date of 7/1, the amount needed shows that there. And then below, she just listed the funds that we could utilize to pay for that position. And I would just say that we've gotten 8 applications so far.
I thought it was more than that. See, I thought it was...
8. I thought it was 9, but Megan confirmed this morning it was 8.
Have you had a chance to look at them? Do they look like good candidates?
I have had a chance to look through, and they look solid.
Good, good.
While we're on that, we're not going to start interviewing quite yet, right?
I did reach out to Beth Fox, and she's more than happy to come help us out. And we're just working on a date that we all can meet to interview. We're just going to do a slate of
Because
applicants.
I would like to have a meeting with the board, with Jay here,
Yep.
and when he comes back, so I'm asking for
Okay.
that time.
Yeah, so I
before we
know
start that.
the dates that she gave were, so Beth is available the 27th or 29th of May, or June 1st, 3rd, or 4th. So I just put it out to
So we
Megan.
got time. We can still just take apps, and then when Jay comes back, we're going to
Yep.
have a discussion.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yep. So
And-
would it be okay to schedule those?
And
if-
this will
if
give us
Beth-
time to, I'll leave this question. I'll call this person. Yeah.
Is it okay to schedule with the applicants if Beth can confirm one of these dates.
Not until the board of selectmen get together. When is Jay coming back?
I think Friday.
This Friday. So Laurie, what did you need? What is the first day? Would you need?
Well,
Next Friday.
Beth is available the 27th, which is a Wednesday, the 29th, which is a Friday, the 1st, 3rd, or 4th is when she can come do these interviews with us.
I'd appreciate it if you could hold off until the first, or something, give me some time.
Okay,
Could you
so-
push it to the first one? June 1st or something? What's that on? What day?
Sure.
Should be on Monday.
It is Monday.
Monday?
And that will give me time for Jay to get back and get together for a quick meeting.
Okay.
All
So it's
right.
okay to schedule June 1st for
Yes.
interviews? Okay.
Is everybody okay with that? Okay. And then in the meantime, we can look this over too. We'll take this with us because can't accept it, and we'll get questions and, right, we'll look it over. Do you have anything else, Laurie, in the administrative side?
No, I don't think so. I think we just went through it in this meeting. I think we're good.
Correspondence?
I don't think so. There was just one in there that had come in. I believe it's in the red folder. Let me see.
That was me. I'm sorry about that.
Oh, I didn't even notice.
I was so busy reading this.
Well, I just want to
Yeah,
bring
there
up,
was just a memorandum from the state that we had gotten. Says, be advised that the work on subject project was started by Continental Paving on May 13th. I think we get the notices like a few days after the work starts, but.
A week.
So we put it in the folder.
just a quick idea, and we can bring it up in the future, but I just wanted to roll it around your guys' heads that I came to see Laurie today, and we had a little discussion with Laurie about possibly with this EMS thing, that maybe we build a committee to do some research on where we're gonna go in the future with all this, with the ambulance and all this stuff, right? And we put together a group and we let them start now, because if we do sign, it's 2 years. If they met every month, you'd get quite a bit of meetings in, and they could look at, what are our other options, and just in case of anything, we should start now researching where we could go. They could look at, can we do it, all different things, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what's cost effectively best,
Right.
there's been talk about, does the town bring in their own EMS service? And I think there was a little bit of research done on that, but
Yeah, and then
I think it would be just smart of the board to consider
Correct.
other options instead of just taking
Correct. So we'll throw that around, if everybody's okay with that, in the next meeting, all right? Great.
So should we add that to the agenda?
Could you do that?
Sure.
Scott, you have any public input for us tonight?
Just a clarification from the board, is it the consensus of the board that the water sewer committee stick with the rates, looking at the rates for a while? No?
You mean the committee looking at the
Yeah,
rates?
I'm talking about us
Because
looking
at first
the
you
rates.
said something about you were gonna dump it in the select
We're gonna
boards.
hand over to you because we thought we were kind of done with it, for now, but if we're not done with it for now, that's fine.
I personally don't think we're done with it. I mean, I don't know what the board feels.
No, I mean the committee being done with it. You're never gonna be done with it because you're the guys in charge.
I know, but it's
The
just
committee will be
funny.
done with it at some point. But if you want us to continue looking into it and looking into a better way or something like that, we can do that. Otherwise, you can think about it too. I'll hold off, if you wanna think about it, I'll hold off on recommending that to the committee tomorrow. It's on the agenda.
It's a great decision, I think, that we keep it with the committee right now.
So that be the consensus?
Yes.
Okay, got it, and stay on, we'll just give you updates on that.
That'd be great.
Okay.
I'll see you at,
Thank you, Scott.
Thank you, Scott.
I'll see you at 8 o'clock, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Are we gonna adjourn tonight?
At some point, I would hope.
to adjourn.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.